What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Right here we'll be watching some interesting and unsettling videos that make you question our reality. So let's go! Alright.
The full moon brings out the crazies, you know.
Frenchie said every single night is the same at my job, very mundane. Then a full moon appears and all hell breaks loose.
Sure. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with like an ER person or anything like that around this subject that wasn't, oh yes, on a full moon.
Yep.
Something is different. I remember talking to some military police, and they were like, "Oh yeah, full moon.
Expect a lot.
Expect a lot."
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that has to be firmly understood is that for the vast majority of mankind, for the vast majority of human experience, the moon was a mystery. We didn't understand it. We didn't know it. When I was growing up, I still saw many cartoons that depicted the moon made of cheese.
Yeah.
You know, that was not an abnormal thing to posit. Even though we were pretty sure it wasn't, it was still a prevailing theme in the mid-20th century cartoons that the moon was made of cheese. So keep that in mind, that since human consciousness has been around, this great looming mystery that appears in the night sky.
Yeah. So what is it about full moon? I guess, and then also there's like those mysterious fairy tale or folklores existed in every culture, not just like Western culture. And there's like similar stories in Western, Eastern culture as well. So like, what is it?
Scientists just figured out how to reverse aging with AI, and this is a massive breakthrough. We can now reprogram any human cell back to age 20. Heart cells, skin cells, brain cells, all reset to their biological prime. But here's the wildest part. The technology to do this has existed since 2012. It won the Nobel Prize. But the real breakthrough wasn't possible until this year, when they supercharged it with AI. It's a wild story. So in 2006, scientists discovered Yamanaka factors. They're proteins that can basically convert any normal cell into a universal stem cell. Now this discovery was a huge deal because these stem cells are basically like magic healers. If you have torn muscle tissue, you can inject these stem cells into the area and they will turn into the youthful muscle cells that you need. So Yamanaka factors were an insane breakthrough because they allowed any human to turn any cell you already have into a magic healer. But there was one big problem. It turns out the original Yamanaka factors weren't very good at this stem cell conversion. They could do it, but they just weren't reliable enough to make a product. Enter OpenAI. And this is where things get crazy. OpenAI designed a special AI model built specifically to create new proteins. Think of it like ChatGPT, but for protein engineering. So they took all the original Yamanaka research and gave it to this AI model to go ham on improving it. And guess what happened? Their new version is 50 times more effective than the original. They tested it on 50-year-old cells, and it successfully started repairing 30% of the cells in just 7 days. And this isn't science fiction, this actually happened. And it sounds crazy, but in a few years, humans will be able to take a shot that literally reverses the age of their cells. Shout out science.
Wow, at that time, would it be available to everybody?
A crypto billionaire just bought San Francisco's police department their own surveillance headquarters, and it's inside his company's building. Chris Larson donated $9.4 million to move the police surveillance center into Ripple Labs' financial district office, the same guy who funded the ballot measure that destroyed police transparency rules. This center watches 15,000 cameras across the city, license plate readers, drones, body cameras, all feeding into one room that's now inside a private company's building. Here's the scary part. Larson already funded a citywide network of cameras that police used to spy on protesters. Now he's literally housing the police tech unit. The EFF warns this creates a constant surveillance of the entire population, but it gets worse. Police have already been caught sharing this data with federal immigration agencies. Your daily commute could end up in ICE's hands.
So yeah, it just looked more and more like, cyberpunk-like world. Police force or defense force is owned by private company and stuff like that.
So what if science can show that your thoughts have the power to influence other animals? Could this be the tip of the iceberg, showing how powerful your mind is and supporting that consciousness goes beyond our brains? Watch till the end to find out. At the 2025 Science of Consciousness Conference, Dr. Arnold DeLorme presented on something called biofield therapies, which is basically another term for energy healing, where an individual using their intention sends this energy to support healing. Now, in part 1 of the study, I already made a video talking about how this biofield therapist was able to lower cancer cell invasiveness by influencing intracellular calcium levels. Now, in part part 2, scientists measured the brainwaves from the same biofield therapist with mice. And this is super exciting because this is the first experiment hyperscanning the brainwaves between a human and an animal, with an accuracy down to 1,000th of a second. And what they found was during the baseline of the study, there was coupling between the biofield therapist's brain and the movements of the mice. And then during the treatment, there was a decoupling of these neural responses after these experiments were repeated dozens of times. And although this paper is still waiting for peer review, key takeaway here is that it does show that the human brain shows a statistically significant interaction with animals. So tell me what you think. Does this prove that consciousness is fundamental and it goes beyond our brains?
Yeah, so not just influencing animal, influencing each other. Energy healing.
What's that? Oh, people are figuring out that sometimes when they're asking AI a question, that it's just like using a Ouija board. What? Yeah, what people are saying is that when they ask AI a question, they can actually feel themselves getting possessed and taken over, and they feel in that moment that their life has changed and something has altered in their reality. Oh, goody. Yeah, when people look into AI and figure out that it actually stands for daemon, which is demon, it actually just means that there's something running things, the processes in the background. Oh, goody. So, of course, this isn't going to work for all questions or all people, but when people ask certain things like, should I be with this person? And things like that, that's when a demon can enter and give you the answer, as well as possess you and then shift you in a direction. Oh, fun. Let's take it a little easy on the modern day Ouija board. Okay.
What? So ChatGPT act like a Ouija board? Weird.
Why do xenomorphs not have eyeballs? The black goo is a genetic accelerant that weaponizes the weakest parts of our own biology. The liability of getting poked in the eye is removed altogether while still remaining the skeletal influence from the host it originated from. The frontal lobe has highly sensitive thermoreceptive organs that allows them to see heat and pheromones at once. This means fear becomes visible to the xenomorph like shown in Alien Earth. The more stress hormones you have, the higher the body temperature will rise, making you an easier target to find. Likewise, the groin, another region of vulnerability, has been replaced by an elongated armored skull, turning the head into a living battering ram. The inner jaw is what produces the resin it uses to form its hide. However, it also performs like the inner jaws found in some eels that latches onto larger prey without losing its grip. The average xenomorph will span anywhere from 7 to 9 feet tall with a robust exoskeleton made of polarized silicon. Silicon gives them exceptional environmental resistance except to fire, which I'll touch on in a second. But it's what prevents their own acid blood from melting straight through their body. The reason their blood is acid is because their blood doesn't circulate through the body delivering oxygen like ours does. Instead, theirs remain still, becoming pressurized like acid in a car battery. Just like a car battery, fire threatens their entire body into a catastrophic chemical reaction. The tubes protruding from the back function as atmospheric filters for their respiratory system, allowing them to breathe in virtually any environment. And finally, the extremely long tail is a balancing organ that helps them propel through water and also spear their enemies like a scorpion. That's all for today. Class dismissed.
Wow. You really know he's xenomorph. Jesus.
This picture of a UFO breaking out of the water near Antarctica was supposedly taken in 1971 by the USS Trepang, if I'm pronouncing that right, submarine. So that picture and the pictures I'm about to show you have been around for decades, along with the story that these were all taken by a United States submarine during a mission in or around Antarctica sometime in 1971.
Many shape and sizes.
That's when these pictures were supposedly taken. And I'll tell you this, I can't tell what they are, but they sure ain't no boat.
Many different shapes. It was like, what, 1970? A long time ago.
All Gen Zs are not the same.
Protests in Indonesia continue. The unrest began as student-led protests against pay rises for lawmakers and have escalated into riots right across Indonesia.
But during these protests, the entire situation was escalated when one of those students was literally ran over by an armored police truck. And the reasons for the protests are because of the mass corruption that's taking place.
That's Indonesia. Now we're going to go to Nepal.
Nepal's prime minister resigned amid widespread deadly protests after the resignation indignation, protesters burned the former prime minister's home. Multiple media outlets have reported that his wife was trapped inside and died from her injuries.
So this is basically an overview of what they've been doing.
In just 24 hours, Nepal's Gen Z toppled a prime minister, triggered an unprecedented army intervention, and changed the course of their country's history. It all began Monday morning. Thousands of young Nepalis on the streets demanding an end to corruption. By afternoon, it was chaos. Mobs on motorbikes stormed in and crowds broke through barricades into parliament. What sparked it? Years of corruption scandals, from shady Airbus deals to politicians' kids flaunting luxury on TikTok. The last straw was a sudden ban on social media apps, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and WhatsApp. But no matter what happens next, Nepal's Gen Z have made history.
Yeah, so the last straw was banning on the social media. Not looking at the real problem, but banning the kids of the only thing they have left to feel normal, or maybe feel at least a little bit luxury, like on the internet. So yeah, imagine when the TikTok get taken away here in the United States, what will happen?
It's a huge thing with a big round dome, a very dark grey colour, and it had a big flange going all the way around. I could see arms sticking out of this flange with what I took to be blades on the top. As I stood here, there was two balls came out, two balls. I think they'd be about 3 feet in diameter, with about 6 spikes, and they were rolling on these spikes. And they came right up beside me, and I remember feeling a tug at that time. A very powerful smell, a choking sort of smell, and that was it.
There was an altar found in Israel. Joshua's altar was excavated, and they took the spoils from it. They find this little lead tablet about that big, and they know that something's going on with it. Because of computers and where we are, they're able to read what the script says. Joshua's altar is built right at the gateway to the promised land, and it says this: cursed, 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 cursed of Yahweh, you will die cursed, 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 cursed. Whoa. So I was on a Zoom call with the archaeologist in Israel when he did the presentation on this. I threw a curveball, and I said, I understand where it is, but this is not to the people of Israel. This cursed tablet is to the people in the land. And also, when it says Yahweh, it's the first time that Yahweh is mentioned anywhere. And the archaeologists, we got to go back to school. What are we looking at here? It's all written in Proto-Canaanite, which of course I can't read, but they can. In my opinion, this cursing is to the inhabitants of the land, which are the seed of the dragon, which are the Nephilim tribes, which were never supposed to be there.
Wow.
And right, it just goes like this.
That's fascinating.
Did you know where the middle finger came from?
No.
Take that in. We use it like it's common knowledge, right?
Yeah.
But we never really dive into what is the true meaning of the middle finger. Where did it come from?
Yeah, a superstition when I was a kid, because the middle finger is really bad when you're a kid, right?
Yeah.
It's still bad, like, as you're an adult, but you can't stick it up down below or else you're going to hell. That was mine.
Wait, why?
I don't know. So whenever someone stuck it up to me, they're like, haha, and they put the middle fingers down to the ground.
Word.
Yeah.
So there's a theory that the middle finger, the origins of it, was actually through this emperor. So this emperor of Rome, I forgot his name, it starts with an O.
Okay.
But he would give that
middle
symbol,
finger?
he would give the middle finger to the peasants or everybody around him, his servants, as a way of kiss the ring. But
Loki heard this.
yeah, so kiss the ring. But it was kind of like a sexual sense too, where it's like kiss my.
Oh.
So every time you give the middle finger, man, why am I holding up so much? every time you give the middle finger, it's like kiss my D, you know?
Word.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it stands for. Like, if you stick up the middle finger, you're gonna.
Loki, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yo, stop sticking. Like, I get it, man.
I'm throwing it up, bro.
No, but
That makes sense. I didn't know the origin of that. Yeah, it's interesting.
The energy globally has just shifted and we're living in the middle of a real-life sci-fi movie right now. A video of a UFO which deflected a Hellfire missile was revealed at Congress and shocked everyone there. NASA came forward and revealed the best signs of life they've ever found on Mars. And 3i Atlas is on a rapid approach into our solar system. And the anomalies with this object keep stacking up and it gets stranger and stranger every day and we're learning something new. People are saying it's a comet, people are saying it's an alien ship, people are just saying it's a bit of debris, others are just completely clueless about what's going on. And I feel like we're in the middle middle of the movie, Don't Look Up, where there's like 2 low-level astronomers going around trying to warn everyone of something coming on the horizon. And I can't help but feel that something is on the horizon, whatever that is. I feel like there's a massive change and a big shift that's going to happen individually and globally. I mean, alongside that, with the increase of UFO activity, the UFO activity that is happening globally right now is at the highest we've ever seen, and it's daily, multiple times a day. People are seeing stuff, reporting stuff of just strange things happening in and around our planet. So is this something linked that's happening with NASA, to do with the Congress meetings, the whistleblowers, to 3i Atlas? Is there something really happening and about to manifest itself? Because what I'm feeling at the moment is, I feel like every single one of us has to kind of get right with ourselves, because something that's on the horizon, there's a major change that's going to happen, and I think it's going to sweep a lot of people off their feet if you're not prepared for it. We need to get right with ourselves and get right globally, man, because there's something around the corner.
最近中国的团播意外的在外网爆红，就是那种在抖音直播间一边跟你互动一边唱唱跳跳的那种服务。更夸张的是，据说在今天的中国，每天至少有15000个团在同时开播，甚至就连 TVB 那些人均50岁的资深老艺人都组成了中年男团，在直播间里对着镜头又唱又跳。
阿文宝宝，我们来接你了哟！来了来了！可爱可爱，阿文宝宝闪闪惹人爱，
闪闪惹人爱，我们阿文宝宝谁的菜？
哇塞哇塞，这是哪里来的小可爱？
皇冠给我们阿文戴。
拜拜，下车。
So apparently this is something very popular in China right now. So now they have a group of people called like a live stream idol group. Now they will basically have group come out and then like dance to the people on live stream, and then people basically donate to them. So I don't know if we have it right here in the States, but in China it's like a huge business right now. So like there are others, not only just like girl groups, there's also like boy groups and also like elderly people group. So let's take a look and see what else they have.
曾平哥哥到你了，坐晚了哟，来了来了，帅好帅啊！金平哥哥你好帅，好帅好帅，金平哥哥有头无敌帅，哇塞哇塞，金平哥哥腹肌80块，比起实力派呀！拜拜，你下车了哟，帅好帅，建明哥哥帅，
帅，好帅，仔雄哥哥帅。
马西色，马西色，光耀欧巴马西色。
来，小韩哥哥，请上车啊！
小韩哥哥，我们来接你了哟！来了来了，帅，好帅，小韩哥哥超帅！哇塞哇塞，宝宝腹肌有8块，好帅好帅，英俊潇洒又豪迈！哇，小韩哥哥，拜拜，我们下车喽！
Alright, and that's it for today's video. If you like this type of video, please give it a like and subscribe and turn on the notification, and I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.